Hey everyone. Yeah, you want to know why a lot of these immigrants that are crossing the border into Canada that are coming from the United States, you want to know why they're fleeing their countries and why we have this mass immigration problem? As per usual, look no further than your central planning overlords, the control freaks and sociopaths that run this country and the country down south, as to why. Vice News Canada. The war you've never heard of. The U.S. is waging a massive shadow war in Africa, exclusive documents reveal. This is by Nick Terse, May 18, 2017. 6 years ago, a deputy commanding general for U.S. Army Special Operations Command gave a conservative estimate of 116 missions being carried out at any one time by Navy SEALs, Army Green Berets, and other special operation forces across the globe. Today, according to U.S. military documents obtained by Vice News, special operations are carried out in nearly 100 missions at any given time. In Africa alone, it's the latest sign of the military's quiet but ever-expanding presence on the continent, one that represents the most dramatic growth in the deployment of America's elite troops to any region in the globe. In 2006, just 1% of U.S. commandos deployed overseas were in Africa. In 2010, it was 3%. By 2016, that number had jumped to more than 17%. In fact, according to data supplied by U.S. Special Operations Command, there are now more special operation personnel devoted to Africa than anywhere except the Middle East. 1,700 people spread out across 20 countries dedicated to assisting the U.S. military's African partners in their fight against terrorism and extremism. So, even without getting any further into this, I mean, think about it. Look at a lot of the migrants. These illegal migrants and immigrants or refugees that are coming to Canada. A lot of them, and if you've seen any of the rebel media reports or even some of the CBC or National Post or other establishment media reports, they're coming from, it's not just like Syria or Iraq, I mean Eritrea, Somalia, Nigeria. I mean, they're coming from lots of these African countries. And like I said, here's the problem. This is the fucking thing. Stop your central planning control freaks in your country from these foreign interventions into these countries halfway around the world, which is usually about controlling and dominating resources or geopolitical strategic fucking developments, right? And planning. I mean, if you stop messing with, then we probably wouldn't have as much rampant growth of all these people coming to these countries. But that's the thing. Central planners, they benefit no matter what. So whether it's bombing and affecting these foreign countries or the immigrants that come in here, they don't have to pay anything. They can force the tax serfs and slaves in their respective countries to do it, but they don't have to pay for it. And then obviously with the U.S., now with the third country safe agreement, now the U.S., they're cracking down. They're smart. U.S. is always much way ahead of the game as far as Canada goes. So they're trying to crack down on all this shit because they recognize, well, that was kind of stupid what we did. While they're trying to correct the mistakes that Obama and even probably maybe even back George Bush. Although it seems to be predominantly Obama with this whole immigration bullshit. But now they're trying to unwind that. But now that they're trying to come up to Canada, the Americans are getting rid of a lot of their problems. But the problems are coming to Canada. The Americans are like, well, yeah, go on up there. Let you become Canada's problem. Let the welfare state and the welfare net and let all the fucking Canadian serfs and slaves take care of this mess, right? So of course it's not in the American interest to try to stop this. It's up to the Canadian government, the federal government. That's the whole point of having a federal government, is to protect our borders. That's literally the whole point of a federal government instead of a provincial government, is to protect the federal borders. The countries that determine the difference between our country and the other country, which is the United States. But what's Justin Trudeau, which is the Liberal government, is in charge of? They're the federal party in charge, right? What are they saying? Oh, come on in. But is Trudeau saying, oh, come to my house? No. It's come on in, and I'll force everyone else in Canada to take care of you or compete against you. Regardless. We'll prop you up a little bit, actually. So we're actually not only going to force Canadians to compete with you, we're going to give you a leg up on Canadians and maybe tie Canadians 1 foot and 1 hand behind their back and then say, now compete with them. Oh, and before you compete with them, give me your wallet and I want a certain portion of your money. So not only is one of your hand and one of your feet behind your back, but I'm going to take a portion of your wealth and force you to subsidize them, and now you can compete with them, right? Is that fair? Consider that fair, Canada? Of course not. And like I say, all this foreign interventionism, All these foreign conflicts or this race to dominate and control the resources of the world, it's having massive negative consequences and effects on the population of not just Canada and the U.S., but a lot of countries all around the world. So ultimately, the first culprit that you got to point to that's at fault is obviously the central planning government, which is the Trudeau Liberals. But now we kind of have even the whole thing of not just the Liberals, but now it's all the other bureaucratic institutions that fall under the umbrella of government, right? So, if you work for government in Manitoba, now you can create a whole new bureaucracy to deal with these things, right? So government benefits, like I say, at every stage of the game. Canadians that are forced to deal with this, that have no say in the matter, well, you're not going to benefit. Well, I mean, there might be one or two of you. Like if it's one of your family members that are coming here, right? Or if you're one of these wealthy 1%ers that get to use these people for your nannies or take care of your kids or clean your house, you probably benefit from it, right? For sure you do. Because it's all heavily subsidized, so you don't have to pay for everything, like for the trips all the way across, to send someone over to find them, pay for their trips to come here, pay for securitize them, everything. You can just, the government do all the work for you, and you can take full advantage of that. Whereas the average Canadians, well, like I say, they have to participate now in that race to the bottom, that somebody dug a hole and made it even deeper, and they're called the federal Liberals. It's a Canadian Libertarian. And I love liberty.